Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to the meeting tonight. So I'd like to call this meeting to order, and I'd like to start with the roll call, please.
Ward 1, Councilmember Harding, present.
Ward 2, Councilmember Hobbs, present.
Ward 3, Councilmember Brooks, present.
I'd like to request a motion to excuse Councilmember. Huh? What? Yeah, but we're in the middle of roll call, or we do it after. Okay, I'd like to request a motion to excuse Councilmember Mendoza of Ward 4.
Ward 3, Councilmember Brooks moves to excuse Councilmember Mendoza.
Councilmember Harding, I second that.
Great, thank you. So now I'd like to go ahead and go into the Pledge of Allegiance. Sorry, I'd like to request a vote on that motion. So all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? Okay. Thank you. So now I'd like to request an approval of the agenda. Before we do, I'll go into it. So we have presentations. So a proclamation for Hispanic Heritage Month. We have the consent agenda. This evening we'll be approving the minutes for September 13th, October 4th, April 11th, May 2nd, and May 9th. We have the department operation reports, which include the town administrator and public works report, the treasurer's report, public safety and code compliance, and then we'll invite committee, board, commission, and task, any members here to report out. We'll then follow that with the mayor's report, with the council member report and concerns, and then resident comments. We'll have any action items. Under that, we have new business. So we have Time to Care Act collaborative participation approval, which is a letter of intent. And then we'll have a Cat's Life Rescued revised grant agreement. And then we'll discuss any unfinished business, but it doesn't look like we have anything there. And then we'll adjourn. Is there anything anyone wants to add to this?
Councilmember Brooks, nothing to add. However, I do have a question for Holcomb, our town administrator. Was the Time to Care Act in the original packet, or was that just for today?
That was received right before the meeting.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to request a motion to approve the agenda.
Councilmember Hobbs makes the motion to approve the agenda,
Councilmember
the
Harding, I'll make
consent
the motion
agenda.
stated.
Councilmember Brooks, Ward 3, second set motion.
I'll actually open up for discussion. I kind of feel like we just discussed it. If there's no discussion, I'll go into requesting for a vote. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you. So let's jump right in. So is anyone, the Hispanic Heritage, so the Hispanic Committee. I'd like to present you with this Hispanic Heritage proclamation, since we will be celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. So the proclamation. Whereas each year, Americans observe National Hispanic Heritage Month by celebrating the histories, cultures, and contributions of American citizens whose ancestors came from Mexico, Spain, the Caribbean, and Central and South America. And whereas the day of September 15th is significant because it is the anniversary of independence for Latin American countries, which include Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. In addition, Mexico, Chile, and Belize celebrate their Independence Days on September 16th, 18th, and 21st. And whereas over 60% of the population of the town of Colmar Manor is represented by the Hispanic community, and whereas the 2023 theme for Hispanic Heritage Month is Latinos driving prosperity, power, and progress in America, generations of Hispanic Americans have made and continue to make significant progress in driving the country forward, and therefore be it proclaimed by the mayor and the town of Colmar Manor. in recognition of the indelible footprints of Hispanic culture in our daily lives, that on this day we recognize September 15th, 2023 through October 15th, 2023 as Hispanic Heritage Month. Therefore, we encourage all residents and town employees to celebrate our unique and vibrant history, and we commit ourselves to a shared future of healthy, peaceful, safe, and sustainable communities for all. So let me go ahead and present this to the Hispanic Committee.
I prefer 4-0 excused. Excuse.
Ok, esta es una proclamación que observa la herencia hispana este mes, donde estamos celebrando las historias y culturas y contribuciones de residentes americanos, cuales nuestras familias han venido de México, España, el Caribe, Centroamérica y Suramérica, y donde el 15 de septiembre es significante porque es el aniversario de la independencia por Latinoamérica, por los países de Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras y Nicaragua. También México, Chile y Belice celebran su independencia el 16 de septiembre, el 18 y el 21, y donde más del 60% de la población del pueblo de Colmar Manor está representado por la comunidad hispana. Y donde, cuando en tanto el tema de la herencia hispana para este mes es hispanos moviendo la prosperidad, el poder y no sé cómo decir el progreso en los Estados Unidos. Generaciones de hispanos han hecho y continúan a hacer progreso en moviendo el país adelante. Entonces, está reclamado por la alcaldesa del pueblo en observación de los hechos de nuestra cultura hispana en nuestras vidas cotidianas. Y este día reconocemos el 15 de septiembre hasta el 15 de octubre como el mes de la herencia hispana. Entonces, le estamos diciendo a todos los residentes y los empleados del pueblo que celebren nuestra cultura vibrante, nuestra historia, y que todos nos, no sé cómo decir esto, pero que hagamos una futura saludable, en paz, y comunidades que son diversas y que le dan la bienvenido a todos este día. Entonces me gustaría presentarle esto a los que están acá del Comité Hispano.
Mine says 7. Six is consent.
sorry. Come on over.
This one's 5, right? Oh. Oh, 1.
Okay.
6 consent.
I'm sorry, I'm going to be selfish right now. So I also wanted to take an opportunity to thank all of the partners of all the council members, their spouses and their families for supporting us in the work that we do. This isn't an easy job or responsibility. I also want to thank and take a moment to give gratitude to all of the town staff and all of their families and their spouses in their support of the work that they do. And I say this specifically because it's my husband's birthday. And instead of going out and celebrating, we're here at the town meeting. So I want to just give a big thank you and I love you and happy birthday to my husband. So happy birthday. Okay, so now we'll go into the consent agenda. So are there any questions in regards to the approval of minutes? I'll let everyone take a moment to take a look and just see if there are any questions or comments.
Councilmember Brooks, Ward 3. On September 13th and October 4th, who was the mayor pro tem? Because in the other meeting notes, we have it, but not for those.
So Councilmember Bowles was the mayor pro tem until he stepped down.
Okay, I just request that we make that edit.
Are there any other questions or comments or feedback?
No.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and go into the department operations reports. I'll give everyone a moment to take a look and just if there's any comments or any feedbacks on that.
Here.
Chief, is there a way that we could get the public safety report a week out in advance? I noticed we had May in the packet.
May was accidental, and I had it to you on Friday, which I think was the last request.
Okay,
Um,
all right, thank you.
So I actually do have some feedback. I'm not sure if it's in the treasurer's report, but I'd like to forward this question over to our town treasurer. In our work session, you mentioned that we are closing the end of the year in a surplus. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I don't have. Yes, that's correct. From the first draft of the final report and the auditors will begin tomorrow. So I would rather hold off on reporting on that until after that's complete.
Okay, and just to give everyone a heads up, our town is currently going through an audit and we'll have the report back in.
By the end of October.
Are there any questions, feedback?
For the treasurer, I have a couple of questions on page 4, line 5988. On the vehicle maintenance, we're already at 23% of the budget. Is that something that we can expect to continue to increase like that? And we're already in September?
I believe that's in the police department. I believe that was mainly one larger expenditure. Was it a fuse box or something for one of the cruisers? I can't remember.
Yes, a fuse box that affected the air conditioning and some other components of the vehicle, and it was quite expensive. I don't recall the price right offhand, but we did increase that line item substantially for this fiscal year compared to last fiscal year, and it's primarily due to the age of our fleet. That the older it gets, the more expensive it is to maintain them and keep them running. So.
Understand. So it's like a one-off, but we shouldn't expect it.
That larger expense was, I know there's one larger repair bill, which I think was about $2,000, $2,100. So that's really one major cost that, we probably didn't anticipate, but it happened. But as the chief said, there is additional funding in that line item due to the age of the vehicles in the police fleet.
Same thing goes for the senior van expenditures, 5590. So we're at 32%. Was that another one of those age of vehicle?
And 5590, one of the larger expense there is the insurance for the van. So we pay our insurance in July of each year, and the insurance on that's about 2,600. So of that 4,820, about half of that is related to the insurance. So that's not something that will be recurring each month.
However, at the beginning of the fiscal year, we already had to put the van out of service for a week due to a malfunction with shifting gears, and it had to be towed out of here in order to be fixed.
So that might be something that we have in the coming meetings to discuss long-term solutions.
Yes.
Last question, tree service. I know that the town administrator had mentioned that earlier. We're currently at 27% of the budget already. With fall approaching and more than likely the fall storms, would this be something that we may need to pull in ARPA funds to support?
If needed, I believe we were possibly looking at doing some more townwide tree trimming in some of the areas where the trees were lower, and that there was going to be a proposal for that. Was that going to be out of ARPA funds? Is that the plan, or? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Councilmember Harden. Not much a question, much more of a comment. I appreciate finally having Public Works report. Though I believe that it would be helpful if we gave them more of an outline of information that we're looking for. These are great footnotes, but I believe that would be a section of said outline. There could be a lot more data added because they do a lot of work within the week. So I'd like to see the work that's getting done. And I'd like to help with said outline. I remember you said you want information as well from them a certain way. So I'd like to work with you.
Yeah, and once the Public Works supervisors in place, we'll be able to set those up a lot better, but appreciate the assistance.
Town administrator, one more question. On the website, entering content site will be live soon. Do we have an ETA?
It was going to be by this meeting as a big surprise to everyone. However, illness ran through the office in the last couple of weeks. And then we had vacations, so that slowed things down. But I expect definitely by the October meeting, we'll have that ready, even if it's still missing a few small pieces. But one of the last components was the photography too. So that was why we had the photographer here tonight to try to finish that up.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no further questions or feedback, I'd like to call anyone who's present from any of the committees or groups, town groups. So I'm calling up any of the committees, any of the town groups.
Doretha from the Garden Club.
Test. Sorry about that. I was in the middle of translating my fellow members what was going on. My name is Juan Antonio Casañas. I'm here as Vice President and representative of the Hispanic Outreach Committee. I'm here with Sara Campos, and we have other members here in town. We have 2 points. One is to announce and present that we are gonna, that we are organizing and having a Hispanic Heritage Month festivities on September 22nd. That's not this Friday, but the following Friday at Legacy Park. Quería presentar 2 cosas. El primero es que estamos organizando y preparándonos para una fiesta, para celebrar la herencia hispana. Muchas gracias. el 22 de septiembre en el Parque Larry, desde las 6 hasta las 8, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Please, 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 everybody come. There'll be foods and games and hopefully some more. Second is we're here to also present a letter to council and mayor. I am right now emailing it to you. You should see it in your mailboxes, but I'll go ahead and read it so it's in record. To council and mayor from the Hispanic Outreach Committee of Colmar Manor, del Comité Hispano de Colmar Manor. Take into consideration that we are entering National Hispanic Heritage Month that celebrates the histories, cultures, and contributions that Hispanics have had in the United States. You might also know the days of September 15 and 16 is significant because it is the anniversary of independence for many Latin American countries. The committee would like to express its gratitude to elected officials of our town that have bravely continued to promote active inclusion of all our residents in our town's resources and the participation in our governance. We applaud the work that has been done to expand voter participation to everyone above the age of 18 in town. We also recognize the work done to improve multilingual materials in town, translations of forms and other communications, and more importantly, providing live interpretation of the monthly town hall meetings. As you know, the importance of town hall meetings are used as an open forum to discuss political issues, solve problems, and vote on decisions that directly affect all town residents. To give context to our town's demographics, according to the US Census 2021 American Community Survey 5-year data, also known as the ACS for 2021, 62.7% of the people live in homes that speak languages other than English in Colmar Manor. Specifically, 49.1% have Spanish as the type of language spoken at home. Nearly 14% speak languages other than English or Spanish. This data shows the importance of interpretation of our town hall meetings so that we have knowledgeable electorates and active residents. We are concerned about comments made of rolling back these resources that our town resident and taxpayers have pushed over the years. An example of this can be seen in the town work session held on June 6th of 2023 during the discussion of the town budget for line item 5197, general government expenditure, I believe. A recommendation was made by a sitting council member to replace interpretation of the town hall meetings with a quote, a written transcript of town meetings at least 48 hours after the event in at least one other language, end quote. This is antithetical to hosting open forums to discuss political issues, solve problems, and vote on decisions that directly affect all town residents. Restricting or reducing this service excludes a large portion of our community as referenced in the census data. We see this as an active attack to the inclusion and participation of a large percentage of the town's population. Nearly a third of Colmar Manor's residents are immigrants who have lived here for decades and have established and raised families here. These same families have been paying into the town's tax base, either directly as homeowners or indirectly as renters. The council should not be talking about restricting or removing language access to our residents. This is an act of division. It prioritizes access to the town's resources. It prioritizes access to the town's resources, our town's resources, to a few. By limiting language for participation, it takes away the freedom of a resident to choose to participate. We believe that rather than looking for ways to cut or remove language access resources, the town should seek to expand translation and interpretation so that more non-native English speakers can have the opportunity to be more active. This includes, but is not limited to, finding new and creative ways to provide ESOL services to our residents. This again is an open letter authorized by the committee and has been presented via email to all members. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments, feedback, questions?
Thank you for presenting tonight.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for presenting tonight.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
You said the celebration was the 22nd.
The 22nd, yes. So not this Friday, the following.
What's going to take place at this celebration?
We will have food for everybody, or as long as food is available. Sorry about that. That's work. We will also have music, hopefully dancing. ¿Qué más? Vamos a tener activities. ¿Cuál otra cosa van a estar en el actividad? Preguntaron. Activities like the bounce house, pupusas food. Actually, Sara's going to be.
Están todos invitados.
Everyone's invited.
Okay, I'll be there. Thank you.
I did have one more question. At the event, what educational, I guess, presentations or speeches will be provided to help educate some of the non-native Spanish
We
speakers?
lie that on our elected officials to pick and choose properly. That's
Uh-huh.
why we've elected our officials.
Okay, so do you have any topics that you would like us to present?
How about continuation of ESOL classes? To begin with, and I'm sure the council and mayor are very creative to figure out other means. Like, this is a representative democracy. We hope our elected representatives can do our work that we voted for.
Sure. I'm sure we can figure something out.
Also, extension of translations. It would be nice to have all these documents translated before, so that way our members can be able to read it and I don't have to translate on the fly.
So that's a administrative task, right?
Correct. And now that we have, this is Melissa Flores. She's now on staff as our assistant clerk, essentially. So she'll be able to help us translate more thoroughly than Google. Because
Thank you.
Google has definitely translated very wrong for me in the past.
Okay, thank you. So
I'm trying to translate. again what's
okay.
going on. Y en que también me presenté que todo sería bueno que todos estos documentos estarían traducidos. Él dijo que la nueva.
So any of the council, obviously, like the invitation is open to all of us. So if anybody wants to speak, I think that we can, and that's it. So I also wanted to call on Ms. Doretha, who's online from the Garden Club. So Ms. Doretha.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hello, Mayor, Council, Mr. Baden, Chief, residents. Saturday, September 16th, we are selling Moms. That's the annual fundraiser for the garden. We raise money to put back into the garden, like for soil, seedings, whatever the garden needs throughout the year. So we're asking everyone to come out, tell your friends, neighbors to come out and support us. We'll be out there from 10 to 1:30. And speaking of, I heard y'all talk about we having someone coming into town to cut the trees. We want to know if they, at the end of the day, can they dump the wood chips near our garden, at the East Garden and the West Garden, so we can use them?
Yeah, so I did get in touch with the contractor that we utilize for most of our tree trimming, and they are coordinating with me to get the wood chips.
Okay, all right, thank you. But that's my announcement for Saturday. The fundraiser from 10 to 1:30 for the moms.
Ms. Doretha, I would also say if the garden club wants to have a table at the Hispanic celebration on the 22nd, there's going to be a lot of people there. So I would say bring the moms
Yeah.
and bring some sign up sheets for anyone who wants
Yeah.
to buy a plot.
Yes, I'll be there. Yes, please set up a table for the garden.
May you repeat where on September 16th between 10 and 1:30 you will be at again?
At Larson, I guess I'm pronouncing it right. Larson Park, right beside the KFC.
Thank you.
And please save me some mums because I want to buy a bunch and plant them in front of my house on the sidewalk, but not in the cement, in the
Okay.
grass.
I can't promise you first come, first serve basis. We try to get rid of them.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't know if
Okay.
there's anyone else here from any of the other committees. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and go into the mayor's report. Oh, sorry, I need to, yeah. So I'd like to request a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Councilmember Hobbs makes the
Councilmember
motion.
Harden, I'll make the motion to approve. Oh, Councilmember Harden, I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion on this? Okay, if not, I'd like to request a vote. So all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. All right, thank you. Okay, so let me get into the mayor's report. So we took the month of August off. So I wanted to thank everyone for allowing us to do this. From what I hear, it's never necessarily been done before, but I know that it was beneficial for at least myself to be able to spend some time and go on vacation with my family. As far as events go, if you take a look at the presentation, I've listed out the events that were hosted in July. So in July, we had the indoor summer playground in the town hall. Thank you to Park and Rec and to Antoinette Gary for continuing to do this in our town, at our town hall. Oh, it's not sharing? Oh, let me share again. Hold on. Oh, it's not sharing. Okay, I see. Oops. Share. There we go. Okay, thank you. Yes, so we had the summer camp, and again, in order for us to continue to have this event, we need to make sure that kids in the town come out and participate. They raised the price this year, but we also were able to sponsor a couple of the kids that live in town. So just making everyone aware that we had that and it was a success. The staff was amazing, so kudos to Park and Planning. We had the map event where we invited everyone to come out and paint their house on the giant size map of the town, and that's been a fun event to have. We also, as I mentioned, I think it was last year about neighbor circles. So I'm still hosting these neighbor circles. So these neighbor circles are meant for neighbors to get to know each other, to talk about commonalities that they may have, but then also to talk about some issues or some ideas that they may have to improve our town. And the outcome of this hopefully is that either we move forward with taking on one of these ideas or these projects to enact change in our town, or at the very least, neighbors get to know each other and we create community. So we had one that was focused with the Filipino community, and it was a success. It was amazing to hear that community discuss why they came to this town, how long they've been in this town. They've been in this town for decades and decades that I wasn't even aware of. But you can tell with Councilmember Mendoza and the strong roots that she has in this community. So that was just a wonderful event to have, and we're gonna see if we have one more, and then I'll invite everyone to see if there's anyone that would like to host a neighbor circle for their block or for their area. In August, we hosted the National Night Out. So I just want to again thank Chief Stone and give kudos to all of the police and give a big thank you to Cottage City for teaming up with us to host this National Night Out. For me, it was one of the best ones that I've attended, and I finally lived out my lifelong dream as while living in this town to get Chief Stone under the dunking machine, and it happened. And I have it on video and I have it in photographs. So thank you for being a good sport, Chief. We also had the Delegate Fennell Give Back event, which was fantastic. She gave out tons of food, and she also gave out a lot of backpacks and school supplies. She had music, she had food, she had different vendors there. So I just want to give a huge thank you that on your birthday, Delegate Fennell, you always give back. So a big thank you to to Delegate Fennell and her team and everyone that participated with that. We also, Senator Augustine also hosted a legislative breakfast at the IHOP, which brought all of our local elected officials together to talk about issues that are taking place in our district. We had a Beyonce dance party the night before Beyonce's concert. For those who couldn't afford to go to the concert, you could have come here to dance and just have a fun time with your neighbors. We also hosted a card night, which was a lot of fun. So more to come on that card night. And then we hosted an additional neighbor circle, a Filipino neighbor circle. In September, we hosted a food distribution. So thank you again to Delegate Fennell. Sometimes they receive food very last minute and they call us and they're like, hey, do you want to give it out? And so we did. So I just want to say thank you to that. And actually, sorry, let me go back to August. I forgot to mention that we had our own school supply giveaway. So I want to thank the Recreation Committee. I want to thank Amelia and everyone that helped with that. We were able to give away some backpacks. Thanks to Delegate Fennell who donated the backpacks, but then we purchased some school supplies. So we were able to give the kids some school supplies. And then the morning of back to school, which was on August 28th, thank you again to Chief Stone and to Greg and to everyone that helped, to Amelia. We stopped by all the bus stops to give kids a snack, a little water bottle, and just some encouragement for them to have a good school year. So some of the meetings that I've had with different people. So I met with Kenneth Simmons of Senator Van Hollen's office to discuss the issues that we're facing in our town and to see how they can help us. He shared with me that there are a lot of earmarks that we could apply for. So I'm just going to continue to have these conversations with Senator Van Hollen's office to see how they can help our town. We also met with Lieutenant Reed and her colleague from the Maryland Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services.
Del Departamento de
So these
Seguridad
are two people that
Servicios
were at the
Correccionales.
MML
Estas son las
conference
dos
in Ocean City.
personas que estaban en la conferencia en
Again,
Ocean
MML
City.
is a great opportunity to network and meet different
excelente
organizations,
oportunidad para
departments within the state.
conocer gente
And
de estas
they were able to come
organizaciones.
out here and
Pudieron
describe to
venir
us
aquí
the
y
type
nos
of work that they do.
describieron el
So they
tipo de
have a
trabajo que
sort of
ellos
like a
hacen.
work release
Tuvimos
program where we can
un
actually hire
programa,
some people that
tenemos
were
un programa
incarcerated that are about to be released
donde
to do work
podemos
within our town.
contratar a gente encarcelada que
Unfortunately,
está
the
por ser
price is very,
liberada.
very low. And I say
El
unfortunately
precio es
because
muy
we
bajo,
hire them for $2 a
desgraciadamente, y
day.
los contratamos por $50
I'm
al
sorry, we
día.
hear the
could actually
interpreter.
give
The
them more,
Spanish
but this is
interpreter is
a
speaking in this
budgetary
channel.
consideration for the future. We could hire these people, and it would be great to kind of what do they call that when you hire people that were incarcerated? There's a name for it. Oh, well, anyway. Reentry, so reentry programs. So this opened up for us a lot of ideas in how we can apply for grant funding that helps returning citizens that are coming back into the community find work. And so some of the ways that we can do this is either through maintenance of our town. An idea that I had was they could possibly help mow the lawns of senior citizens who aren't able to upkeep their landscaping. And that's kind of what Lieutenant Reed shared with me, that they do a lot of landscaping work. They can do town cleanups. So this is an idea that we can kind of move forward with and discuss a little bit more as mayor and council. I was lucky enough to meet with Erica Borsquat from Seton High School. So if you're unfamiliar with Seton High School, it's a private high school that's for women, not far from here in Bladensburg. And I've been there for a couple of different events, and I was impressed. I was blown away by the caliber of students that they have, how polite they are, how entrepreneurial they are, how committed they are to their communities. And so I've spoken to Ms. Erica to discuss ways that we can involve the girls in our community. Some of these include marketing, so marketing this space, our town hall, which is something that I've been talking about for a while, that we get a lot of rentals on the weekends for parties, but I see this more as getting more business in regards to corporate retreats and corporate outings during the week. So it's an idea to get more income during the week as opposed to the weekends. And that's a place where I think that they can help us with. I talked to them about the pop-up markets on the Laracy lot, and they were very interested because the girls are entrepreneurial and they have an entrepreneurial business program. And I've invited some of the girls to be a part of our vendor pop-ups, and they have. Obviously at no charge, because I'm not going to charge a teenager to come and sell. But that's an idea. We have a lot of communication tasks that they can help with. We can also use them for social media. And one point that they were very interested in is in documenting the car wash development. So they're interested in seeing how that intersects with any type of projects or schoolwork related to environmental justice. So they were very interested in that. So more to come as I continue meeting with Seton High School. Oh, and sorry, Ms. Doretha, they also mentioned that the girls would be delighted to come out to help with garden work. So that's another avenue of where how we can use them. And sorry, I was thinking too, like a homework club. If they could tutor some of the younger kids, I think that they're very open to that as well. Oh, did my screen stop sharing or no? Okay. Okay. All right. So yes. So then I also met with DMV Daily. This is a group that is very active on Instagram. It's a young group, and they approached me to discuss having some type of a walk or fitness activity in our town. And I was referred to them by another elected official, and we're currently in talks to see what we can do next year as far as a walk goes. So one of the ideas that I have to either raise funds for any of our committees or for any youth programming in our town is to have a walk. Maybe it's like a 1K, or I don't even know what you would name it, but to have a walk in our town. And so DMV Daily was very interested in helping us coordinate this and bring more sponsors and partners to the town. I also met with the Milt Matthews Foundation. So this is a foundation that works with homeless and unhoused communities. They do a lot of food distribution, and they do a lot of holiday events. And they do a lot of work in Landover and Lanham. I described to them the car wash lot and how we have many who could be considered unhoused, unsheltered people, and they were very interested in partnering with us. They also are planning on hosting a gala and like a Christmas, like a Christmas theatrical show, and so they were very excited to meet us and to see what the possibilities are for collaboration. Earlier this week, the Prince George's County liaison and Prince George's County, along with County Executive Angela Also Brooks, they host these events monthly or every other month for elected officials to come and meet with different agencies, Prince George's County agencies. And I think it was on Tuesday that I attended. Was it Tuesday? No, last Tuesday, sorry. We met with the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer of Health and Human Services and Education. And so again, they discussed programs that they have for the homeless and different programs that they have for seniors. And one area of interest for me that I'm following up on is they have a program that concentrates on calling seniors to check up on them and make sure that they're okay. And so I asked them if this is a program that can be replicated in different municipalities, and they said yes. And they were very excited to hear of our interest in participating in something like that. So hopefully we'll have something that's similar to like Train the Trainer in our town. So some administrative updates, as our town administrator mentioned before, we have a new assistant clerk, administrative assistant. Do I have the title correct? I think I do. Administrative assistant, Melissa Flores. So we're super excited to have her on. She is bilingual, and she's working part-time in our office. We also have, thank you to a grant from the governor's office. We have a recreational coordinator. So if you have not met him yet, he's an amazing young man that we honestly were blessed because he walked into the office just to discuss something else. And through conversation and giving him a tour of the town hall, I realized that he is an amazing person that would be an amazing recreational coordinator. And so he was hired in August. So he is working with all of our committees and with our youth to open up our gym and to start coordinating recreational activities at our town hall. We also have interviewed some viable candidates for the public works supervisor. At the moment, there is a person that we are intending on hiring. His name is Al Neiman. He lives in our town and he has been working as a watcher, and we have actually applied for a grant through Employ PG. So Employ PG has an employment grant that offsets the salary of any new hires, and so we're just waiting on the grant process to be completed, and we're hoping that by the end of September, we'll have received that grant so he can come on and start work as a public works supervisor. We also have hired Aiden Langberg. If that name sounds familiar, it's because it's Amelia's son. Amelia's son is actually going to school for construction management. And so obviously we scooped him up and said, hey, if you can help us with some public works tasks, please, help. And he has been amazing. So I just want to give a shout out to Aiden. Also, if you've received a text message from the town, that's not spam. It is actually a new texting and communication system that we're using as opposed to Juke. And what's better, thanks to our town administrator who was able to research it and switch us over. The good thing about this communication system is that we can send links out and you can reply to our messages. Anything else? Any other bells and whistles? Statistics, yeah. So that's a new texting system that we're using. So yes, we are trying to communicate with you any way possible through text, in person, online, Facebook, these meetings, you name it, we are trying to cover our communication basis. In regards to initiatives and projects, just to give you all a heads up, if you didn't have a chance to take a look or see our work session last week, we have a charter review that's coming up. And so we are recruiting people and assigning people to be on the charter review committee, which is pretty exciting. This will be work done in conjunction with our town attorney and with our town administrator. And we're hoping that any recommendations will be submitted in February. So last week at our work session, the mayor and council took a look at the charter and went through what needed to be reviewed. And so that is what the charter review committee will be reviewing. We're also starting up the ethics commission. So we're looking, and we've asked for people to participate in that. The parking committee, that's another thing that we are looking to start up again. We need to review our parking ordinance, but then we want to get the feedback of residents, not to complain about parking on their block, not to complain about how parking is so difficult, but to look at what the situation really is in our town and to come up with some recommendations and ideas of what we can do. So that's one. The town administrator and I are working on the strategic plan for the town. So off of the retreat that we had where we came up with our mission and with our what we wanted to do within our town. We're using that to come up with a strategic plan that'll guide our work for the next 5 years. For the next 5 years. The town administrator is also going to be doing an ARPA realignment to see where we can either shift some monies around. So more to come on that. Mayor and Council Professional Development, MML is hosting their fall conference in October. And then I also want to start having some discussions about what our roles are, what the role of the mayor is, what the role of council members are, because I feel like we don't really understand that. And I think that it would be good for us to start discussing that. And so I actually asked our town administrator if he would lead a workshop on that in the coming year, in the new year. Seeing as to we'll be having elections in, well, we might have elections in May, depends on what the charter review committee decides. But that's an area. And then we've talked about having parliamentarian training for the mayor and council so that we can be more efficient with our time. So that's something that I'm still looking into and figuring out. We also have a new business liaison that will be starting soon. His name is Officer Odin. He may look familiar because he's an officer within our town. And this also is thanks to a grant that Greg applied for and that we were able to get. He will be liaisoning with the businesses in our business district, hosting meetings with them, doing a survey with them. And then we're also going to hop back on our neighborhood watch on the go. So this was where the officer went out with a council member, or we might even ask a public works person to go out, or code enforcement, to just walk around town and field questions or concerns or feedback from residents. That type of feedback really helps us. And it it's meeting our residents where they are. Not everyone can come to these meetings. And then finally, I am attending the MML board retreat tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Sorry, Thursday and Friday. So this is a great opportunity for me to meet other municipalities in, is it Eastern Maryland? So we're gonna actually take a tour and tour other municipalities, learn more about them. And for me, it's great. It's great to see what other towns are doing. To see if I can come back with any ideas as well. So I'm super excited about that. And then I just want to thank the National Association for Latino Elected Officials. I received a grant to go to Dallas next week to go to a policy institute on emergency response and management that is being coordinated through FEMA. I'll be receiving a certificate on this, and they're paying for my airfare and for my hotel. So these are the opportunities that we should all be looking for our elected officials, or even for any of our committee members or residents that have an interest in applying for something. These grants are out there, and so I just want to give a huge thank you and shout out to Naleo for allowing me to participate. Some upcoming events, the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration on the 22nd from 6 to 8, the mum sale. Game nights are back. So we have a resident. I used to host game nights at the town hall about 5 years ago. And we had a blast. I'm a huge board game aficionado. So I love playing spades. I love playing cards. I love gambling. And I love playing board games. Oh, and I love karaoke. So game nights are back. There's a town resident that has a ton of board games, and we just had a game night, and we had a lot of fun until we decided that we wanted to do this on a regular basis. Shelby, who's a town resident who was hosting meditation at our town hall on Sundays, approached me and said that she wants to continue doing meditation. So in October on Sundays, you'll receive more word on this, on the time and whatnot. We'll be doing meditation, free meditation for everyone at the town hall. And then one thing that the recreational coordinator is trying to, what we're thinking about having is a Colmar Manor open house, where we're inviting everyone to come here, meet the recreational coordinator, have a movie night, but then also open the gym, ping pong, we'll have board games. So that's, again, just another activity for us to do at the town hall. If you have not heard, Councilmember Mendoza's father passed away. And so I just want to offer our condolences and our thoughts with the Mendoza family. As I mentioned before, They have deep roots in this community, and they've been here for decades. And so I just want to offer our condolences to Councilmember Mendoza and to her family and everyone that's in the community. Details on his service are here, but you can also find them on Facebook. We will put in memoriam on the electronic billboard. If you're able to make it, I will definitely be there. But yeah, you can contact us if you want to get the information, but the information is here as well. In addition to Councilmember Mendoza's father, there have been a couple of other residents that have passed. And these also are residents that have long lived in Colmar Manor. And so we want to offer condolences and respects to these families, for family of Miss Portia Thompson, for Mary Young, and then most recently for Victor Guardado. He was shot last week in Brentwood. And so our condolences to the families. I also wanted to share some pictures. So this is our community. This is who we are. So in that first picture is the superintendent for PGCPS, Miller House. He came to the IHOP, and it was lovely to meet him, and I look forward to interacting with him more often. You'll take a look at our town administrator at the Beyonce dance party. He's pictured here posing with Beyonce. This is the moment that I spoke about, Chief Stone under the dunk machine, and that's National Night Out. The top left, I love this picture because it's of our youth giving her opinion on what she'd like to see at the Larissy lot. So I want to give a big thank you to Park and Planning and the Neighborhood Design Center for coming to our map event to collect information and just to talk to us about what we want to see in our community. On the top right, you'll see Delegate Fennell's Give Back event, and Ms. Doretha received a citation from Delegate Fennell for her work with the community garden. Lower left-hand side, you'll see our public works staff, Ray, painting curbs. So if you've seen these curbs, he's the one that's been doing them. Make sure to say hello. And on the lower right, you'll see the giant map that we have on the gym floor. Top left is a picture of one of the Filipino community circles. Top right is a resident who came with his kids to get a backpack, but he also came out with a club for his car. So I don't know if we still have clubs, but if people are interested or need that, just call the town hall. Lower left-hand side is the book bag giveaway along with the school supplies. Lower right-hand side, the same. And I think one of the residents that's pictured here is sitting over there. Top left is the morning of the school give back. So this is some of the people that received little snacks and goodies. Top right is one of the game nights that we hosted here. We had a lot of fun. Lower left, again, is the morning school send-off. And lower right was our senior club, who hosted a yard sale at the Larissy lot. Top left is Delegate Fennell with that last minute food distribution. So thank you again. Top right, I just want to continue promoting Baller Tykes. So Baller Tykes has been hosting basketball and soccer skills for the youth in our town, ages 2 to 8. So if you have not heard about them, if you want to come see them, come to our town hall. The program costs $125 for, I think it's like a 2-month, 3-month period. That's a discounted rate, and it comes out to very little. And it's on Saturdays in the gym, and they're an amazing, so it's 2 women. It's a Black-owned business that is hosting this for our residents and the surrounding community, and they are fabulous. My daughter participates, and she has a blast. Lower left-hand side again is the morning send-off. On the right, if you take a look, all the way to the right is Malik, our recreational coordinator. And these are the youth that come routinely to use our gym to play basketball. And so for a long time, we weren't able to allow them into the building. And it broke my heart because I don't want to turn kids away so that they can go on the streets and do nothing or get in trouble. And so I'm so thankful for this grant and to have hired Malik to come and play basketball with the kids. That's all they want to do. They want to come and play basketball. So we're just at the beginning of continuing to coordinate activities for the youth in our town. And these are photos from the Colmar Manor Day. So again, it was such a blast. On the left-hand side, you'll see Senator Augustine and Reverend Addison and Delegate Fennell. Senator Augustine presented the mayor and council with a citation for Colmar Manor Day. So thank you, Senator Augustine. Reverend Addison, as always, helped us with volunteers from the Port Town Youth Council, and Delegate Fennell was there with her lovely smile and all the support that she always gives the town. In the middle, this is a new resident, a new town resident that just moved in. I think they moved in April. And obviously I had to coax him to get, dunked under the dunk machine, and he kindly obliged and had a blast. There are a couple of new residents that have moved into town. So if you're out and about, make sure to say hello. Top right, you'll see Delegate Fennell with the Port Town Youth Council, and the lower right, again, is new residents that got dunked with me. And I think that's it for my mayor report. I'll go ahead and turn it over to our council members. So first up is Council Member Harding.
Thank you, Mayor. That was a great report. Appreciate all the detail. I'll read my report as following. I believe it might be up on the screen. And then I'll have a couple of notes after. So Ward 1 report. Last few months, we've had a few incidents in Colmar Manor and Ward 1 specifically, from hit and runs on parked cars to vehicles consistently running stop signs and parking wars. I say this to encourage neighbors to aid each other in our times of need. Ring cameras may give leads that weren't there. We're back in the school year, students need support, and it takes a village. And overall, this is our home, and that should feel welcoming and safe. Thank you, Mayor. I personally have seen an influx in volunteering and community activity, and I thank you all that continue to evolve yourself. We need the commitment to gauge the necessity. As we continue, my hope is to address student safety and recreation after school hours for this school year. And a couple footnotes. So I've been in talks with Delegate Fennell, and she's had me speak with one of her colleagues. His name is Charles. His last name is slipping me right now. Forgive me, Charles, if you ever watch this video. But I'm very big into the arts and music, and I'd like to see things stem that direction for our town. So Charles is a person that's been working inside the music industry, and he's definitely open to having conversations about just bringing opportunity here for our children. Well, our students, not just our children, but that goes from ages 5 all the way to college. And as well as leadership program for our young men. That's a very big calling for him right now, and he's looking to see what's possible here to just give classes of motivation as well as guidance and mentorship for our youth. So that ends my award report.
Thank you. So next up, we have Ward 2.
Hello. I hope you can hear me okay. So just wanted to do a recap on my activities. And in July, I did a door knocking walk with police officers, Chief Stone and Officer Chavez, and down 40th Avenue. Okay, thank you. And it happened to be a very hot day, and I'm grateful for our police officers for doing this with me. We met many residents who were just coming back home from work, and that was a perfect time to talk to them, to get to talk to discuss any issues that are pertinent to them. And the biggest issue has been so far is the parking situation, and I know Mayor and the town is working, and we will be reviewing the parking ordinance in the future to resolve this matter. Okay, I don't see my PowerPoint presentation anymore, but there's 2 of me, and the PowerPoint is helpful. Also, Officer Chavez helped interpret, and that was instrumental as well to have a Spanish-speaking police officer on the bike, as and helping as needed with interpretation and talking to the residents, although many did speak and understand English. And also, like, from my interaction from this walk, I noticed that how much our police officers are known in the community. They're recognized by neighbors. Our police officers do know people, do know residents who live in those houses. They know their situations. And there was, it was somewhat a good revelation to me that they do indeed do community policing. I appreciate Officer Chavez also riding a bike during that hot day, and some of it, because that makes him more visible, I think, to the community. I think it's easier for our residents to approach police officers on the bike rather than in the car. So I also wanted to acknowledge Officer Chavez for that, for doing that. And this was just one part of my ward that we did. We walked through, but I in the future, I hope in a cooler day we can do it again. And I also encourage, I know other council members to do the same, and I know Councilmember Harding did the same thing back in the day as well. Also, so when we did the walk, we distributed a community survey. This community survey, it's called the health survey, was put together specifically for people to identify not only their health needs, but also their maybe financial needs, or if there are any needs or any issues that they're experiencing that the town can help resolve. And I really hope that the town received some completed surveys back. It would be interesting to hear from our town administrator if there's any completed surveys. Also, during the walk, I discovered that some teenagers, specifically in the high school, did not, because of the pandemic, they did not have a chance to do an internship. And I helped connect one resident's daughter who's in high school to the town hall. And also, this is another initiative that I would like to see continue, so that our high schoolers, future graduates, have a place to go to if they need an idea about where they would like to intern, or nonprofits that are nearby that the town has close relationships with can be pointed towards to have an experience in a working environment. And also for community hours, our town needs lots of volunteers, and that is something that we need to establish, like more. I know it exists, but more so, like, have it more organized. So also, together with the mayor, I have identified and called 2 Spanish instructors. So together we're trying to start a Spanish class for English speakers. We've identified a few. I've conducted conversations and interviews. And so far, we were able to find one instructor who is willing to conduct classes online. However, we have to come up with a budget for these classes, because of course we have to pay our instructors, pay tutors to teach Spanish classes to the residents. Yes, there has been a lot of complaints, multiple complaints about food truck accumulation and shopping carts near Compare Foods. So I inquired about the situation, and it seems like at least one of the trucks was moved. And from my last conversation with the town administrator, Mr. Holcomb, the shopping carts would be removed in the near future. So this concludes my report from Ward 2, and I hope to see maybe some of my residents in the near future, maybe sometime in September or October, when we do another stroll with the police, just to meet, to talk to you, so you can communicate any issues you have or any requests you may have. I'm happy to help. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Ward 3.
Councilmember Brooks, Ward 3. So I'd first like to thank the Public Works Department for cutting back the weeds at the playground next to the American Legion facility. We definitely like having that available for all the young kids in the town. Also, would like to thank our code enforcer for helping residents and landlords reduce their code violations through communicating to them of the codes and ordinances. I'd like to say a thank you to the police department for investigating a couple of unknown tags that had District of Columbia plates that were in the town limits. And then I would also like to appreciate residents who continue to reach out to the town leadership with their concerns and comments regarding potential improvements. From a health perspective, just want to remind residents to pick up after your pets. We have disposable bags across the town to help facilitate this concern. Second item is flu season is upon us. So I just want to remind you all to protect yourself and your family. There are one-day clinics at the Bowie Volunteer Fire Department on October 23rd from 11 to 3 p.m. And then the National Wesleyan Church on October 30th from 10 to 1 p.m. Then from a financial perspective, tax credits. So there is a elderly property tax credit, CB 029 2022, which went into effect July 1st of this year. And it's the Prince George County will provide up to 20% credit of the county portion of the property tax bill, inclusive of any homeowners and homestead credit. So if you have not already taken advantage of that, I would recommend that you look into that. Then from a legal perspective, just from a Town of Colmar Manor codes, reminder of the noise ordinance, Sunday through Thursdays, outdoor amplified music to end by 9 p.m. Friday through Saturday, outdoor amplified music to end by 11 p.m. and no music to travel more than 20 feet from your property. From a reduced or free legal services, because you never know when you may need that. The Community Legal Services of Prince George, they offer free legal advice or reduced fee legal representation and legal education. So feel free to utilize their sources. They provide assistance in matters involving divorce, custody, child support, visitation, domestic violence, guardianship, unpaid wages, foreclosure, bankruptcy, and non-fee generating cases. And lastly, some of the concerns that the residents have pulled up. Councilmember Hobson mentioned the food truck. So those had been there for a couple of months. So thank you, town, for reaching out to the business leaders to get those resolved. It appears that the carts and the food service trucks have been removed. Another concern in the business district was the Bank of America ATM. I know that we're working with them. I guess now we have the business liaison, Mr. Oden, and then we're procuring some security cameras. So maybe if they could help us out and find the necessary people to get that Bank of America ATM back up and running to support the community, that would be nice. That was one of the comments from the residents. And then from our town perspective, parks, there are two swings that are inoperable at Monroe Park that a couple of residents had mentioned that they would like to see revised. Sidewalks continue to have feedback from residents around cracks in sidewalks that have not been resolved. Bates fluid falling from the truck during trash pickup day. I know Mike in the past had trailed behind them just to keep tabs on that. And then cars parked on the grass. I believe that is a violation through Prince George County. So just reminding residents that it's not appropriate to park your cars on the grass. And then finally, I would like to thank all the residents who came out to the Spanish for English speakers at the end of last month, and definitely appreciated your support and look forward to what Councilmember Hobbs and the mayor are planning with that. And that is it.
Thank you, Councilmember Brooks. So, Councilmember, in regards to the Spanish classes, I had requested a proposal on the project that you coordinated. Are you planning on submitting a proposal?
In time, yes, ma'am.
What does that mean in time? Because it feels like the people that came were very excited about the Spanish class. And I also wanted to tell people I attended the Spanish class and I thought it was lovely. But I do think that it needs to have a facilitator, someone that's bilingual. So there's interest in it. And so what do you mean exactly by in time?
So in time, meaning when I have time to put a proposal, when I've been provided a formal document of what a town program should have in it, then I will provide that.
So you're waiting on us to give you a document to tell you what to tell us about your program?
No, 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 no. So I originally saw on May 9th, Mr. Rufus had mentioned that he would like to have some meetings for English speakers to speak to learn Spanish. So I waited, didn't see anything happen, created a program using Babbel, sent a flyer out to residents.
To what residents?
Ward 3.
Why only Ward 3?
What ward do I represent, Mayor?
You were elected in Ward 3, but you work for the entire town.
What ward do I represent?
You represent the entire town.
Okay. Ward 3 residents voted me in. So those were the residents that I felt to do a test project with, and they were the ones that provided some great feedback. And some of the residents even took over when I was out of town. So to answer your question, when I get around to it, I will provide a outline program.
So I actually mentioned the program that, or actually at one of the meetings, when you brought up the Spanish class, I asked for help. I asked for council members to say, I need help with this. And Council Member Hobbs said, I will help you with this. And so Councilmember Hobbs, I really appreciate your help and your time with calling people to try to facilitate this. I think it's actually a lovely idea. And I would love to talk to residents to see how we can get something like this going. I was under the impression through that request that we needed or that we wanted something that was regimented and that we wanted a professional that would teach you like very like Spanish 101 as you would learn in school. But from attending the Spanish class, what I gathered was that it was more conversational. So it's really just learning how to chit chat. And so I really, really love that. And I would love to continue to try to see how we can coordinate this because I feel like there was interest in it. And so this is why I asked you for a proposal. And so now it sounds like you don't want to assist with that.
No, I said I can give it to you in time. I just don't have a date. You're asking for a date and I don't have a time right now.
I'm not asking for a date. I'm just asking like when. Like, do you think
So
you
I said
might?
in time. That's when.
So my question is just like, do you think September, October? I'm not asking for like a specific date or time, but it would help because I think that as council, we should work together to figure out how to, if there's something that's been successful, like let's work on it and let's do it together.
So I received an email suggesting that the classes would be honored until the end of August. And then a formal program needed to be provided for it to be continued to use the town facilities. So with that, when I started the class, I informed the residents, hey, I am not a full teacher. I'm not a certified instructor. I'm not a certified translator. I'm not a certified interpreter. However, we do have technology on our hand. And given that I'm a very budget conscious individual, I was able to source the internet for different things that other government agencies have used in the past, Babbel being one of them, to use that as a start off point and with the group making a decision, the goal ended up being, let's have a end of term session where we meet up at a restaurant, diner facility, and all order in Spanish. So the goal initially by the residents that were in attendance said that they only wanted to be conversational. So outside of sending that to you, what else specifically do you need?
So I'm not requesting a formal program. I'm asking for a proposal, something that will talk about opening this up to the entire town, not just Ward 3 residents, and figuring out, okay, what does this look like? Who's invited? How will we learn? What are the goals? When will we meet? So I just want to make clear that for us, when we're talking about use of town property, which includes the town hall, if you want to come and use the town hall, we rent the town hall out. Like you don't get to use this for free, right? However, if you're a nonprofit or if we're having a community, health fair or whatever, that benefits our community directly, of course you can use this for free. But if you're restricting it to only certain people, then there's a problem with that. And so that's besides the point. That's just to give people awareness on how we stand in regards to use of town property. I think that the Spanish class was a lovely idea.
It was.
And I don't want to duplicate work or waste Irina's time or my time when we're actually trying to find Spanish instructors. And then when you started the Spanish class, I would have loved to have worked with you on it. And so I don't want to keep people waiting for a program if you don't feel like you have the time to submit a proposal. I feel like I like attending the class and I speak Spanish. So I think that there's some creative things that we could do. And I loved meeting our neighbors there and some new neighbors that have moved to town and just seeing how passionate they are about learning Spanish and speaking to other people. And Mr. Rufus, like, I just want to say thank you because I told you this already. It came from a genuine place from your heart. You just wanted to speak to your neighbors. And I love that. And I think that we can do it. So I also understand when you're talking about leveraging like our budget and our expenses. I thought I came to it thinking of it the way we hosted the ESOL classes, the English classes for people who don't speak English. For me, you need to have someone qualified that's not going to waste people's times, that will help them achieve their learning goals. But after attending the Spanish class, and I realized, oh, this is conversational and it's just very like a neighborly thing to do. I had a change of mind and a change of heart. And so I think it's a beautiful project and I would love to work on it. So this is why I'm asking for a proposal.
So if you loved it and we've only had 3 sessions, why not just say, let's continue and we'll build the ship together as we're all learning it? That's the way to partner with the council member.
So I would like to continue this and open it to the entire town. Again, like I'm not here to say I'm only going to have something here for Ward 1 residents. I'm only going to have something here for Ward 2 residents. For me, if we're going to use, imagine if I had a town meeting and I said only Ward 2 residents are allowed to come. That's not feasible. So I would love to continue working on it. I would love to help you come up with a proposal if you like to submit to the mayor and council so we have something on record and a template for programs in the future. And I would love to open it up to the entire town.
We can. And again, there was not any verbiage or text that said it was only for Ward 3. I am a representative for Ward 3, so therefore I provided it to Ward 3. So we can just open it up again and we can continue to build it out. But the idea of a proof of concept is to not open it all the way up and have bugs. The proof of concept is to identify your program, create processes and standards, not waste people's time. And then when you have something that has been solidified, you open it up to the masses. That is the definition of a proof of concept.
Thank you for explaining proof of concept to me. I think in the future, like you're welcome to host these classes. Like there's no reason why you shouldn't. It's just for me using the town hall space and opening it up to the entire community because you could have easily hosted this in your home.
I could. So do you want me to just pay for the rental space? I can do that too.
I'm not gonna make, no, I think it needs to be open to the entire community. Like, why would I make you pay for rental space?
Well, you're saying that I could have it in my house, but I could also have it here. And if we rent out the space, if I pay for it, then technically based off of the town
That's
hall.
really up to you. I'd like to continue working.
All right,
on-
so in that, and I am in agreement. So just open it back up and we can continue.
So what I'll do is I'll come up with a proposal and a plan, and I'll present it to the town and council. Irina, if you're open to helping me with this, I'd really appreciate your help. And obviously, you're welcome to help as well if you'd like to work with me.
Yeah, just let me know when the meeting is.
Yeah, or I might just communicate with everyone via email and we can figure it out, like writing a proposal and just going through what has worked, what is working, and what we envision this as being, because I think it is a nice program.
Thank you.
Okay. So next, so yes. Yes. So we're gonna take a couple minute break to allow the interpreters to recalibrate. So just bear with us. Or, thank you so much for your patience. Okay, so I think we've got everything sorted out to the best that we can right now. So next up, so just to add to the council reports, so I wanted to say thank you again, Malik, because it was your idea to have Neighborhood Watch on the go. And I'm so thankful to Councilmember Hobbs for actually participating in doing that. I think it sounds like it's a successful thing. So I definitely want to keep that going. So thank you for working with me to have something that's beneficial for the entire town. I also wanted to remind residents, if you have an issue, call the town, speak to us, talk to the town administrator. I promise you, we don't bite. And we need to hear these issues as well. And if it's a police related issue and it's not an emergency or life threatening thing, call the non emergency line. So please just remember to do that. The other thing too was in regards to COVID, flu, and RSV. These are the winter respiratory illnesses that take place around this time. And so I wanted to also give you a heads up that the CDC, I was on a call with the CDC, and they don't expect COVID rates to rise very much, but we still need to be careful. So if you have not gotten a booster shot or you have not gotten a vaccine, the CDC announced today that the new vaccine is coming out towards the end of this month. So please make sure to go and get the new COVID booster that's coming out. In regards to RSV, if you're 60 years or older, please make sure to go get an RSV vaccine. And then for the flu, please make sure to go out and get your flu shot. So these shots, well, the COVID vaccine is available at the CVS. I think the CVS in town, last I checked, they have the flu shot, but I think they might also have the COVID shot. The Walgreens on Route 1 in Hyattsville offers them. And then next door in Cheverly, they have the Cheverly Medical Center, which is like a 2-minute drive from here. So definitely make sure to check those places out. And I thank you everyone for your reports. So now I'd like to go ahead and open it up for resident comments. So Mr. Ficker, please, I'll go ahead and call you up first because I know that you have to leave. And then to all of my Amharic speaking friends, Happy New Year. Salam, Happy New Year. So just make sure to give your name and the street you live on.
Yeah, my name is Fikre Katamai Tanfisu. My address 3408 37th Avenue. Thank you, Mayor, for inviting me. So my question is, the tree, I mentioned last time also, still nothing happened, but before yesterday, there's a big storm. The branches fell on my fence. So it's dangerous to do something. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing this up because a lot of residents have been contacting us at the town hall because of the recent storms that have caused branches to fall on their property, and they're afraid that branches might damage their property. So I think this is a great exercise for our council. So this is where the council comes into play. I've asked our town treasurer to come up with projections of our budget, but these are also considerations that we need to take in mind when it comes to tree maintenance in our town. So with trees, it's a little complex because it depends if it's a tree that is the town's tree or if it's on your property. I believe that on your it's the town's property, right? Yeah. So is it?
So it is and it isn't. It's the tree is located on the town's property, but anything that goes over a property line technically should be maintained by the property owner. That they have the full right to cut the tree on their side of the property. Now, I do know that in some situations, we do have dead branches and some of these trees that are owned by the town that probably need cut and trimmed. But as you mentioned, it is a financial consideration. There's $2,500 in the budget for tree trimming of the entire town. And we've already spent 600 and something of it on one tree that was damaging vehicles as cars would drive under it. And we've had reports of at least two more. So trimming a tree at minimum is $500 for them to come out and do some basic trimming. In a large scenario like this tree, you're probably looking upwards of $1,000 to $1,500 just to trim the tree. And if it's a full removal, you're looking at anywhere between a small tree, it's $1,000 to 2,500 or more.
So I think in this instance, because you're not the only resident that is having issues with trees, I am asking the council for help. So I think we need to research what other towns are doing when it comes to tree maintenance and how we can support residents with tree maintenance, shared tree maintenance by the town and the homeowner. So one of the things that we've done is we've planted new trees in town, right? Because we want to be a green community. We want to have shade. We want to have a tree canopy in Colmar Manor. That comes with a cost. So this is a budgetary consideration, but it would really help us. This is something that is a priority, I believe, for the town, because there are a lot of residents that are dealing with this. So I'd like to request that the council help in researching this issue, and if we can come up with some solutions, I think that we can do that. Even if it could come down to the ARPA realignment. Maybe we allocate some money so that we share the costs with residents to cut down any dangerous limbs or any questionable tree situations that are on shared property. But I think that this isn't the first time that you've come here to talk about that. So I think that, even there are towns that hire arborists, that have arborists on their staff. This could be like another avenue that we go down, and maybe we get a part-time arborist, who knows? But there is a budgetary consideration that's attached to it. Any other comments?
Definitely agreed, Councilmember Harding. My comment was, did we ever establish that local, like our internal business directory, as far as like the local business that are inside of town? And if not, the reason I bring that to consideration is that I feel like, I mean, for your neighbor, you discount or you do work to help your neighbor as far as what your business resource is. So maybe, that's an option. I don't know if there's any arborists inside the neighborhood. I doubt it. But just to have these things that expose, at dispense, it would be very helpful, at least in my eyes.
And we just had like ARPA money that we help people with assistance to pay their mortgages and any other outstanding bills that they have. Maybe it's time to consider having a fund to help property owners with tree management. So I just want to say thank you for bringing this to our attention again. And I think that we will be talking about this. And I hope that some council members will work with me to help me come up with some innovative ideas to deal with this issue. So thank you, and I'm sorry that that you're having to deal with it, but we're gonna figure it out. Okay, so resident
Oh.
comments, yeah.
Real quick though, on that note though, I do want to help get rid of that branch for you because it is kind of large, but it's on your side of the fence. So I don't want, Public Works Department can't just walk onto your property and start doing things. So it's kind of a liability there. So either we can make an appointment with you, or maybe you can help them get it over the fence so that we can take it away.
I have your number. I'll call you.
Hello. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Rufus Williams, 37th Avenue. Question for what is it? Councilman on the end that had the Spanish classes.
Yes, sir.
I was kind of confused because when y'all were talking, I thought I heard the mayor say that if you wanted to try to do it here in the town hall, it would be free. And I heard you say something about paying for it, which got me kind of confused.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is that if somebody wants to come to the town and use our property, any of our rooms, but they're only inviting a select
Right.
group of people, then that's like a party or a board
Right.
conference or something like that.
Right.
So in that instance, we charge people.
Right. I understand that.
Now, if it's an event for the entire community, Ward 1, 2, 3, 4,
Uh-huh.
the space should be open for that, and we
Okay.
don't charge for that.
That's what I thought I heard you say.
Yeah.
And maybe I was confused. Maybe you just wanted to continue to do it with your group and pay, or?
So what I was saying was, I'm a representative for Ward 3, so I sent
Mhm.
flyers out to all members of Ward 3. When it became aware to the mayor, she said that she would allow us to continue having those meetings up until the end of August. And then at the end of August, I needed to either submit a program or I would have to
Okay.
do another avenue. So
All right.
No, I'm sorry, to submit a proposal.
submit a proposal.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
they're two different things, sir.
At the end of the day, the residents enjoyed the program. It was a proof of concept. And as soon as we were able to get to a point, then we would have opened it up to a broader group. If you've done any type of teaching, you would understand that if you have too many kids in your class or adults in your class, it makes it very difficult to educate all. So,
Okay, understandable. Second of all, I think I talked to you, Greg, about the lighting situation, and I may have missed it already. They were saying that you could pull money from another program or something, just help start getting the research done for the lighting stuff. Was that ever addressed, or?
No. So we have a work schedule. I put extra copies over there. What that's falling under is what we're calling the ARPA realignment of moving some funds around in ARPA. And so that was being suggested as being talked about at the October work session.
I'll
One-
get you a copy. But I think there might be one on the table. But
Which one is that?
so it's not in the well, it's not in
I
the
got the
packet.
proclamation.
No, not that.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're laying out the things that we want to discuss in the coming months and we want to address.
Okay.
So, but yeah, thank you for keeping that fresh atop of our minds.
Yeah, because lighting is really my pet peeve. Because it's just so dark.
Yeah.
Parking situation, it's gotten a little better. Some people are here to it, some don't, but what can you say?
So
thank you, Chief, for trying to stay on top of it. I know you got a lot on your plate. We appreciate you.
So we're gonna start a parking committee. And so I'm hoping that they'll be able to give us some suggestions and some ideas. Because I don't think that we can all work in silos. Like, we have to work together as a community to
Exactly.
have these things happen in our town. And so I know that I asked Mr. Ficker if he would be a part of it, and he said yes. And I'll reach out to a couple of other people in different wards to see if they would like to participate and be a part of it.
Okay.
Because people have brought up different ideas. I think former council member Bowles had suggested like delineating different parking spaces with white lines. And so that's an idea that was brought up. So
And Malik, I talked to you already about volunteering. So
are we doing the charter review committee nominations now, or will they be contacted?
So the council members were requested at the work session to identify individuals for the Charter Review Committee and the Ethics Committee specifically. We did not receive nominations from some of the council members. Some council members sent more than one. So
One per council member, right?
is what we requested. And then also in addition to that, we asked there has to be at least one council member on the Charter Review Committee per the charter. So so basically what I'm saying is there's no clear grouping of
So at the
people.
moment, there are some people that we've identified. So we're having a committee of 5 people. And we've requested that the council members nominate one person to be on the committee.
okay.
And so some people have nominated one person, some people nominated like 3. And so I think we just need to suss that out because again, like we need to have clear instructions and clear follow through in order to make this happen.
Okay. Updates. I think I've given my card 3 times and I haven't gotten an update on anything yet. I would pretty, I'm in the system.
Wait, updates on what?
I have my home email and work email.
Oh, you haven't received any emails from us?
None.
Like no emails in
None.
regards to like any of the town notices?
Nothing.
Do you have us maybe in your spam?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, well, let's figure it out. Let's figure it
Okay.
out.
I think I got 1 or 2 on my home email.
Do you get them on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I use my job email
Okay.
and very seldom I'm on the home email.
Yeah.
So I will leave another card and would appreciate if I could get them on my, work email.
Okay.
Because I get that on my phone. My home, I don't do on my phone because it's just entirely too many.
Okay. I have your number too, and I think Greg has your number. So one of us will reach out to you to test it out again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Councilmember Brooks.
One second,
So-
but Mr. Williams, before you go, can you leave your work email with me? As the mayor, Councilmember Hobbs and I are working on the Spanish, might reach out to you. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead and give it to me. I'm looking forward to working with you on the Spanish group, Councilmember Brooks. I have background in teaching English to immigrant adults. I've taught with Casa de Maryland. I also used to work with the Montgomery Coalition for Adult English Literacy, and I've taken numerous trainings on adult learning. So I have experience and a background in that. And so I'm excited to work, and I hope that we can work together so that it's not, so that it's not complicated.
It doesn't have to be complicated, but I look forward to working with you as well.
Great, thank you so much. Any other residents that would like to come up? Okay. Your name and your street, please.
Yes, ma'am. Deborah Williams at 4200, 4201 Newark Road. It's on, right? Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, yes, good evening. I just wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, I enjoyed knowing that you guys had given some back to school treats to people on, to the students. And I would have known about that, because that would have been something that I would have really enjoyed doing. So it was really good just to hear that. I have a niece particularly, which made me think about what you said. And they were, as their back to school welcome, they had cheerleaders that were, as each student walked by, they were doing pom poms and just cheering the students on. So that made me really feel glad. It really blessed me. And I love young folks. So, um, something kind of on the easy side for that for me would be good. So I really like that. So I just wanted to also talk about the situation, the lighting, as Mr. Williams, he kind of got in front of me, because I had been wanting to mention about the lighting across the street, in the parking lot. It would really be nice if we had lighting across the street on the car wash like we have out here in the parking lot. It would really be nice, because we have people that are there across the street at night, and they hide away by that medical building. They hide away behind that dump truck. They urinate over in that area, potentially defecating over in that area. My husband is always cleaning up that area. And the other night when I came home, I had to go back out when it was dark, and it was I think it was about 8:30 maybe. I didn't see that there were two people out there in the dark. And so I'm coming in at night. I have a right to do that. But because it's so dark over there, you can't see. So thank you, Mayor, because it on the holiday, I happened to try to call the police about 6 or 7 people that were just kind of loathing over there in the area, and they urinate in that yellow pit, and they get drunk and they throw their cans around. And you told me, you gave me the appropriate number. So, but someone did come. And then on Sunday night, because I didn't see these two guys, my daughter happened to see them. And so I called the police, because when we come in our house and we have the blinds open or a little open, they look straight across the street and they can see our house. I don't like that. And I have a right not to like that. And I have a right to feel like, why are you imposing in, looking in on my house and seeing what's going on? I called the non-emergency number. I had to wait for several minutes. So in essence, I got the full, I need you to, can you please hold? We're busy. And that they give about a 3 or 4 minute spiel. And I heard that 3 times. Finally, someone did come on, and they said, okay, we'll send someone out as we can. I had to leave out again. So my daughter and I were together. I passed the church and I happened to see a Colmar Manor police car. So I did a U-turn. I just pulled on in, and it happened to be Officer Odom. Thank you. A little thank you for him, because I let him know what was going on and that there were people over in that area. It's really dark, and I don't like to be sprung upon. And so he said that he would take care of that. So I was very appreciative of that. I said all that to say we need lighting in that area. It is pitch dark over there at night. Pitch dark. We need lighting. And I don't know how many more ways I can say that. I would hope and pray that myself or no one else, and I had somebody visiting with me the other day. Okay, same type of scenario, guys hanging out over there, people making whistling sounds and or et cetera, et cetera. It's not good. And why should I have to worry about my company coming in and having to be someone accosting them in some form of a way. It's not good. And maybe others don't realize it, or maybe it's not a really, I don't want to say that it's not a big deal to our town because I'm sure that it is, but it's even more of an issue for those of us who are right on Newark Road and have no houses facing where other residents do. That's why it's such a major concern to me. I don't want something to happen to someone or myself or my family.
So I think we've been discussing this because I think one of the council members brought up sidewalks, and again, with sidewalks, lighting, trees, and parking, right? Those are the four issues that we
Mhm.
hear about the most.
Yeah.
We cannot just piecemeal it. Like there has to be a community-wide strategy to address these things holistically.
Mhm.
I think when it comes to your block, I've mentioned this before, every time you come, I drive down in front of your house every day because I want to keep an eye on the car wash and I also keep an eye on the lighting. Um, and you are unfortunately the only person that comes from that street to talk about the lighting. We've never heard from anyone else on your block about it. That doesn't mean that they don't care,
Mhm.
but I think we need to do outreach to them. And so we talked about writing a letter to that street to make sure that the lighting or what we're planning on doing with the lighting is amenable to everyone. Because you might want it to be super bright, but other people might not want it to be super bright. However, to address your specific concern, I think that the town administrator and the police chief have been talking. So I'll let Greg go ahead and speak on this.
And I just want to say too, because I have one other thing that I wanted to talk about, but I will say this.
So let him
Okay.
address this first.
All right, that's fine.
So I believe there's a light, Chief, correct me, there's a light across the street from you?
No, not directly. It is not.
Isn't there two or three on the block? Well, we've identified one of the lights that's closest to your house. It does seem dimmer than the other ones. So when the bulb was replaced, they may have put something in that wasn't as high wattage as that it should be. So we're going to take the first step of contacting Pepco to see if they can put a higher wattage light in that area. But in terms of adding more lights, that would be a council decision because there's no money budgeted for lighting at all.
That again it's a budget consideration that we need to discuss, right? So that's our role. This is why I say all the council members represent the entire community, right? So this is something that we need to discuss as a council, is how are we going to move forward to address the lighting issues, not just in front of your house, but for the entire community, by Mr. Rufus's house, by my house. There are different pockets within our town that need updated lighting. And so we need to, this is where like we need to discuss this, and I need help, right? So it's not about like these silly little things that can pop up, but let's get to the core of the issues that are affecting residents, which I've already mentioned. The most feedback that we get from residents is in regards to parking, trees, lighting, and the sidewalks. That's where our priorities should be. So I think that I don't know if I have it in the work. Do we have it on the work schedule to discuss? So I think the first step is to contact Pepco to see if they can change the bulb. I think the second thing would be to send out a letter to that area to ask other residents, like what concerns do you have in regards to the lighting? Do we need more lighting? And then the third is for us collectively to start putting some things into place. So keep on coming and we will address it, but keep on coming and sharing this with us.
I will do that.
Can I add one
Now,
thing? And
Oh,
just
yes.
while we're
No,
on
no, no,
lighting,
go
just to,
ahead. No, go ahead, sir.
In the 4200 block of Newark Road where you live,
Mhm.
a year or so, we did add or paid Pepco to add 2 additional streetlights there. One of those, in my opinion, and they were requested to be at the same wattage and color as the existing ones. One of them does seem to be dimmer. In the past several months, we've had an issue with Pepco coming out and replacing the lights that are out. But that seems to, they've apparently called up because that. So I don't, at that time, I didn't think it was worthwhile complaining about a dim light when they're not even replacing the ones that are out. But I think they've called up, so I will ask them about that. When you say, I know that we have the street lights on Newark Road, but is also the lighting on the businesses an issue? Or is it
Is
just
it
the
an
street?
issue?
No, that's, yeah, I'm asking.
No, it is
okay.
not an issue.
Okay.
No.
I mean, is
Yeah,
it,
for me,
is it
it's
that
not.
it's dark because there's not enough lighting in the private property, the business area, or is it just the street lights?
It both.
Because the
both,
street lights
both,
might
Chief.
be able to do something with the
Yeah.
other. And during that project of the 5 street lights through town, your street, we haven't gotten any complaints that it's too bright. On another area where a resident complained that it was too dark and that there was some criminal activity. We put 2 lights in that area and that resident was elated, but a neighbor says it's too bright. So I don't know. And since in the last couple of months, we've done an inventory of every street light in town, to include every pole in town that's possibility of adding a street light. And when it comes time to discuss, I'm gonna hand the map over and let everybody fight it out. But I don't know that I'll make any recommendations to where things go, but it does exist. So we're getting there.
Yeah, but it is both, Chief.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. It is both. And I just also want to mention that there's only 4 houses on that street, on that block. So yeah. And one is very elderly, and I know she's not going to come out. Yeah,
I
extremely
mean,
elderly.
so people don't need to come out. We're gonna send a letter.
That's
But
what, no, I know what you're saying now, but I'm
but-
saying beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we
So,
can,
yeah.
you know, but yeah, yes.
Yes. So thank you for that.
All right, and I see
And-
that Ms. Lee, Miss Walicia Lee has her hand up on Zoom.
Yes, I do. Hi. Can I talk now or should, I mean,
Yes,
can you hear me?
ma'am.
Okay, great.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sorry, Ms. Williams, are you done?
No, I
I'm
had
sorry.
one other thing
I'm
that I
sorry.
wanted to
Oh, so
mention.
Ms. Lee, just
That's okay.
one second.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Maureen.
I wanted to ask the question about the cats and the rescue mission, or whoever was around here taking the cats, and what were they doing with the cats?
So it's a Cat's Life Rescue, and they do TNR. Well, is it called TNR? Catch and Release?
Okay, but when there was a young lady that came and was representing, okay, is this what we're referencing? Because I wanted to know where they were in terms of the cats, because we have a lot of cats that come in our yard and we have no animals at all. And you can see the little baby cats just running behind them.
Have you reached out to them?
Reached
To
out
Cat's
to-
Life Rescue?
No, was I supposed to do that? I thought they were gonna come back out to the
Okay,
area.
so I will, can we?
Yeah, just as a reference for everyone, so they work with volunteers being the residents, so that if there are clusters of cats, or if you are someone that feeds cats, they're trying to connect with those residents to have places to put the cages. So they can't just walk onto private property and place cages, and we can't just put them out in the public right away. But then also on top of that, after they're caught and they're neutered, if they're older than
6 months or something.
it's less than that even. I think it's 3 months. If they're older than 3 months, they're considered feral and they're not allowed to be put up for adoption. And so the group has adopted out many kittens already, but those other cats are brought back and released. So they're not going anywhere. And I have been researching because I have residents that email us about cats all the time, and they just want us to round them up and go dump them in some other neighborhood or take them out into the Anacostia, and we can't do either one of those. So unless a resident has suggestions to assist in that, so far my top residents of letting me know how much they hate cats they can't offer any suggestions on that yet.
Yeah.
So I'm open ears. But in the meantime, this is the best solution we have. It prevents them from a kitten, or I'm sorry, a female cat can have over 100 kittens in their lifetime. And so we've taken care of over 30 cats so far that have been neutered. So that's,
Because I remember they were saying that they were going to come back because there were some people that they hadn't gotten down to a certain area. So I wasn't sure if it was
oh
our
yeah, no, they're
area
very
or-
active, but you can reach out directly. We have a number
Okay.
for them. And actually
If you take a look in the,
if you look in the back of the packet, they actually are changing their agreement tonight to actually include more cats.
Okay,
And so their phone number's right there.
okay. It's in the packet?
Yep. Oh,
Thank you.
and the email too, actually.
Okay, thank you.
all right, thank you. Okay, Ms. Lee?
Okay, thanks. And as it pertains to that issue now, as far as the cats, yes, we have also, it's a young lady that comes over from Brentwood, that have trapped, cats that, has come into our yard and that I have fed. And they have been able to trap them. And but what they do, they have to bring the cats back, as Greg said, if they're over a certain age. But thank God they have been successful in capturing all the cats that comes into my yard. So that's great. And then I will also say, although people really don't, for those who don't have a liking to cats, it does keep a lot of other things away. So I'm grateful to that degree. So my issue is as it pertains to an issue that I did speak with Chief Stone about earlier today, as it relates to a neighbor that there has been several situations that have transpired. And I just want it to be put on record that maybe about a month and a half ago, this neighbor tried to run me over as I was walking in the street. I have a witness to that. And so there has been a report that I made to our officers. However, my witness indicated that the officers, he spoke with the officer. Nothing was done about it. The officer told him he was going out of town. He was going to follow back up with him. Nothing has transpired. Okay. Now today, my son have an issue because he parked in front of this neighbor's house. Police was called and so forth. What I don't want to for it just to be ignored, but basically I believe that it has been ignored. Well, not I believe it has been ignored. And so because when you make comments from our police department and say, oh, well, this has been an ongoing issue, I don't care whether or not it's been an ongoing, if that's what you believe, that's fine, but you need to do something about it before someone gets hurt. I want it, and I want it dealt with, and it should not have needed to take me coming on to say this, because we pay our tax money for the police to be here. I just need this issue to be dealt with. I don't want it to be ignored because you all believe that it's just, oh, it's an ongoing issue. Thank you.
Miss Lee, that's a lot. I'm really sorry that you're having to go through that. That's pretty horrible. And I can tell you, as someone that has had neighbor issues as well, where I've been threatened, um, that's not okay. Um, there are a couple of things that come to my mind when you're discussing this. I mean, I'm not an attorney, but you might want to seek a restraining order if you need to. I think that it's important for you to safeguard yourself and your family. Um, I'll pass it on to the chief so he can address this, but the other options to me too is to maybe involve some conflict resolution in this. Maybe in this situation it wouldn't work because it's a little too extreme. But those are some of the ideas that come to my mind. But I am sorry that you went through that. That is not okay. Chief.
I spoke with Ms. Lee today, and I'll speak with her again tomorrow, and I don't know that this is the forum to resolve this.
I think due to the nature of this and because it might be a little sensitive in regards to like your safety, if you can speak to Chief Stone, and then maybe ask him the question of a restraining order, maybe go through that process. You won't be the first person to have done it. You won't be the last, unfortunately. But I think your safety is of utmost importance. And yeah, we're here to support however we can. But again, I'm not a police officer. I'm not an attorney, so I'm not sure what the procedures are, unfortunately. So, but definitely speak to Chief Stone. And please keep me in the loop. Miss Lee, you have my number. And I
Yes.
drive by I
So,
drive by you all the time, so I can
yes,
always stop by and check in on you.
I appreciate that, Mayor. Most definitely. And however, yes, Chief, it may not be the most sufficient form to address the matter. And I wouldn't have done so, as I indicated to you today. But as I stated, I wanted it to be put on record that nothing was done as it pertains to the police that came out to take the report, and where the witness returned the call and nothing has been done. So, and I think in my passing, I have said this to you before, that I was waiting on the officer to follow back up, and which you did state the officer will call, and he did in that instance, but there's been no more follow-up. And as it pertains to lawyer, yes, because of the situation, I do have a lawyer, and he advised that this was the route that I should go. And I advised that to the police officer when it initially happened, that this is what my lawyer had advised me to do. So it's not like, but like I stated, the only reason why I called in today was because my son also just had an issue with this neighbor, and this neighbor has had issues with multiple neighbors when they park in front of his house. So I'm just saying, I just wanted to be put on record because nothing was done about that situation as it pertains to me, and I don't want something to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Lee. And just as a reminder to everyone that's listening to us, parking is not something that you want to go to jail for. So parking, it can be an issue in our town, but it shouldn't come down to being violent with your neighbors. And you do not own the parking spot in front of your house. I'll repeat it again. You do not own the parking spot in front of your house. You cannot put cones in front of your house. You cannot restrict who parks in front of your house unless it's handicap parking and you have a handicap permit. That parking spot is not yours unless you have a driveway. So I'll make sure to put that in a big and bold in our newsletter, because I think it's ridiculous if people are fighting over parking spots. But we'll talk offline, Miss Lee. And again, I'm sorry to hear about that. Mr. Rufus?
When I noticed you just told, what's your last? Ms. Williams, same thing you told me. When I came up to complain the first time, you said, oh, I understand you're complaining, but we need to get, everybody's involvement. It should not be that way. I don't care if one person from this neighborhood or one person from that neighborhood. I think that we pay enough taxes that we should, if one person comes up and says something, I think it should matter. When you told me that, as you noticed, I brought 5 of my neighbors from around me complaining about the same thing. I can see that from most of the people that's on the line are complaining about lighting. I know I sent someone up. Yeah, I did a proposal for you all to do all the lighting in the neighborhood. Y'all said y'all were looking into that or looking into moving money from another fund to do. I think that matter should be expedited. Right now, it is September. Y'all talking about October. I've been coming up here since before the summer, complaining about this one issue.
Yeah, but Mr. Rufus, I don't want you to think that you're not being heard or that Ms. Williams isn't being heard. Okay, I don't want you to think
No,
that at
that's
all.
not what I think. I think that you give
Yeah.
each of one of us the same answer, that you need everybody around us opinion, which is not the right answer to say, in my opinion. My opinion, I'm a taxpayer, I pay taxes. Okay, Mr. Williams, let me see what we can do to get some lighting in the area. Your first comment to her today was, oh, maybe it's just for you, everybody else around you. It doesn't matter what everybody else around us thinks. It matters what we think. We pay taxes just like they do.
Mr. Williams, I'm not saying that your opinion doesn't matter, but you live in a community with other neighbors, people who live next door to you, right? So their opinion does matter as well. So imagine if they came.
Okay, now if they're not complaining,
if they're not,
she's complaining,
yeah.
Then what?
No, if they're
you do
not,
nothing?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Mr. Williams, that's not what I'm saying at all.
I'm just wanting to
I'm
clarify.
saying, so for example, I think Chief had brought this up. A light was changed in front of someone's house to have it be brighter. Their neighbors complained that the light was too bright. So in this argument, we're never going to win because either some people really like bright light, some people don't. Some people consider it light pollution. So what I'm trying to say is, even when you brought the proposal to the town, how much was it supposedly going to cost us to switch over? What was the cost associated with it?
I don't recall off the top of my head, but even with the proposal that the company that you sent over was more expensive than the company that we had talked to.
Okay, that's fine.
So, and again, it's $250,000.
Okay.
So it takes time to put these things together. Part of the issue is in some of
Okay,
these
now,
locations where, can I finish?
Go ahead.
Some of these locations that we're discussing that have been brought up over and over, there aren't poles to actually put the lights on because the lights are on every single pole. So a study needs to be done fully of the town because now we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars per pole. So if every resident says, I want light in front of my house, but all the poles are taken with lights, we can't just start plopping poles in front of everyone's house. So there has to be an assessment done. That's why it's taking so long.
Now, for me, I have motion sensors in front of my house that lights up the whole street. I'm not complaining about the lights in front of my house. I put lights up myself. Thing of it is, down by the gazebo and right here when you leave out of town hall, I go outside at night because I smoke cigarettes and I ain't allowed to smoke in the house. And I'll be standing out there and cars may not be up, they'll come up, they'll see me standing there because they're going up slow. And they'll see me standing there. Then all of a sudden, they'll make a U-turn, come back down and go away. I've seen several cars going up into the park at night. I've seen park police, monitoring that a little better now. But on many occasions, 10, 11 o'clock at night, cars are coming up the street and they get right up in them dark areas and they'll slow down. If they see me standing there or standing on my porch, they'll ride past and go up real slow and with DC tags. So, I don't think they're in the neighborhood. Cars I've never seen before. So, which makes me concerned that, because of that particular area, you're prey. And second of all, instead of trying to do the whole entire town at one time, do a survey and do the most problem areas first. You know, instead of trying to spend $250,000 trying to do the whole town, go through the town, get the very high problem areas
Yes.
and get those done.
So again, we can't put lights on poles we don't own.
No, I'm talking about on
without
the
talking to-
existing poles.
Okay.
On the existing poles. out
And
there.
again, some of the locations that are being identified by some residents have lights on every pole across from their house.
It's not
So-
about the lighting.
But
It's
you
a-
just,
I mean, it's not about it's the dimness of the light. Okay,
Correct.
it's not bright enough. If you put an LED light out there, it will light up a much more larger area.
correct.
If you put a LED light down by where the gazebo is, that light will shine enough light to deter somebody from standing there. That's all. I'm not saying, I know you can't put lights on every pole. That's ridiculous. I'm talking about the problem areas with the existing lighting in them. That's a problem.
So I agree with you. I like the strategy that you're proposing. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So instead of us focusing on these minute things, we should be, as a council, focusing on that.
Exactly.
So we should be bringing up those things when we're talking about the budget, right?
Exactly.
To address your issues.
Exactly.
So I agree with what you're saying. I'm working on it.
Thank you.
Okay? We're working on it.
Thank you.
But again, instead of focusing on, well, why can't we do this, or I'm doing this, or we're doing that, and I'm only representing this group, you represent the entire community. You have control of what happens with our budget. Let's work on the issue. So
Thank you.
yes, I agree with you.
Okay.
All right. And I appreciate you coming here
Yeah.
and always giving your opinion and giving your feedback. I appreciate it. And
All right.
same with Ms. Williams. So thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Chief, a few months ago, I asked for a report that analyzed where the majority of our incidents were coming from. You said that you were working on it. It was at one of the neighborhood watch sessions. I feel that based off what Mr. Rufus just said, that might be helpful.
Actually, Greg assisted with some heat mapping, and I have that not right in front of me, but I'll share it with you in a day or two.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if there are no further resident comments, I'd like to move into the next section of our agenda, which is the action. So under action, we have new business, which is the Time to Care Act collaborative participation approval, the letter of intent. So I'll go ahead and turn that over to our town clerk, Mr. Baden.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended a meeting last Friday regarding the Maryland Time to Care Act, which, I don't know how many of you are familiar with it, but what the Maryland Time to Care Act is a program that establishes a paid family and medical leave insurance program in which the employers, the employees share in the contributions to fund the program. A packet, the PowerPoint presentation from that meeting was sent out late this afternoon. I only got it this afternoon. Like I said, I just attended the meeting last Friday. They said they were going to send out the information regarding it. But there is a timeline in order to take action regarding this. And so what I'd like to do is give you an overview of what the Maryland Time to Care Act is, what our options are for implementation of the program, and then tell you what the collaborative is asking the participants to do and if they want to opt in to the collaboration that's being done between the Maryland Association of Counties, the Maryland Municipal League, and the Maryland Association of Board of Educations. And most of that is spelled out in the PowerPoint presentation itself, but let me go through it with some of the highlights. So the program itself will provide up to 12 weeks of paid leave to care for oneself or qualifying family members. This is similar to the Family Medical Leave Act, but the Family Medical Leave Act, you get the time off, but it's not paid. We are under 50 employees, so we do not work under the Family Medical Leave Act. The Maryland Time to Care Act affects all employers in the state of Maryland that employ more than one employee. So, it will affect just about anyone or any business in Maryland. In order to come up with a program, there's 3 different options. In order to implement the program, you could either opt into the state's program, which they will establish their own rates and publish them to us. I believe they're due out October 1st, so they'll be coming out, next month. That is option 1. Option 2 is you implement your own program, which we don't have the resources in order to do that. And then the third program is that you go out on the market and purchase, the equivalent of an insurance policy that would pay out the payments to your employees based on contributions made. So, the benefits themselves, so employees are eligible starting January 1st, 2026. So you say, well, that sounds like a long time off. But the state, if you opt into the state plan, requires you to start making your contributions to that plan in October of next year. So you'll be paying into the program for basically 15 months before your employees are eligible for the benefit. And the reason for that is the program's supposed to be self-funded. So they need to build up the reserves in order to have the funds to pay out beginning in January of 2026. The third option is to join a collaboration, which I had mentioned was between the Maryland Municipal League, Maryland Association of Counties, and the Maryland Association of Board of Education. So that's a large pool of municipal and government agencies pulling together to go out on the market and find companies that will basically administer a program such as the state program. You're allowed to do that. If you don't go and get your own plan, then you are automatically enrolled into the state's plan and you have to start making contributions by October of next year. Benefits don't kick in until January of 2026. So in order for the collaboration of those 3 agencies to go out on the open market to get the bids and be able to make the decision not to go into the state plan, they have a deadline of October 1st, which is, they presented this to us on Friday, and October 1st around the corner. We need to enter into a letter of intent stating that if we're interested, that we will join the collaborative, we will share in the cost of the collaborative, and therefore, when the collaborative puts their RFP out, we'll be one of those members of the collaborative, and we'll be able to decide when the rates come in, do we want to go with the state's plan or do we want to go with the collaborative plan? They are putting together the letter of intent now, so I do not have a copy to share with you. They were hoping to have it by the end of the week, but this is our last meeting before the end of the month, and they needed a decision. They're asking for a decision by October 1st. So, what you need to consider is whether you want to, sign a letter of intent that's to be provided by, the end of the week or the end of the month to participate in the collaborative and share in the costs. I had conversations with Maryland Municipal League today to try to see if they could give me a ballpark figure of what that cost would be. And they threw out a figure of up to $3,000 for a municipality our size. So it's based on your number of employees versus all the municipalities and counties that will join the collaborative. And then we share the cost accordingly based on the number of employees that we have. So there's a lot of information in the handout that I provided with you, but we kind of need to make a decision tonight whether that is something you all are interested in, or wait and see if they come out with the letter of intent and have a meeting later in the month before the October 1st deadline. My recommendation is that we participate in the collaborative, because I think the state rates will be higher. The state rates could be up to 1.2%. The employer could push part of that up to 50% off to the employees, so they would share in the cost. So it'd be a deduction from their paycheck, and then the town would pick up the other half. Town could pick up the full amount of 1.2%, but this is a state mandated program. So it's kind of like unemployment, workers' comp. It's something you have to have and you don't have a choice. So the only choice you have is, do you want to go into the state plan, which is probably guaranteed at this point up to 1.2%. And you have to start making your contributions in October of 2024 for a program that doesn't go into effect until January of 2026? Or do you want to join the collaborative of all the other municipalities and counties that join it? And based on that, we would not start making contributions until January of 2026. And with the number of participants in there, hopefully the rates will be less than the county rates, but we won't know until that RFP goes out.
Okay, so I have a couple questions. Well, you answered one of them. So it wouldn't go into effect until January 2026.
The benefits for the employees don't go in effect until then. Yes.
If we write this letter of intent or approve the letter of intent, can we pull out later on?
Once the rates come in from the RFP that the collaborative puts out, and you don't like the rates and you want to go on the state plan, yes, but you'd still be obligated for the cost of doing that RFP, which is basically what that estimated $3,000 is for.
Okay. Any other council members have any questions?
So this is a new state mandated program that we have to abide by. That's the reason why we're doing it now.
Yep.
Okay. Second question, what do we expect to gain by doing this program? Do we expect to be more competitive? Do we expect to, how do we sell this? Is there a way to sell it?
Everyone in the state of Maryland who conducts business in Maryland and employs a worker that works over 680 hours a year in Maryland is required to implement it. You have no choice. So your employees stand to benefit. I wouldn't say it gives us any competitive edge because everyone in the state of Maryland is going to have to do it.
Okay. And then 3,000, is that a 3,000 ongoing, or does that increase? What's the 5 to 10 year budget effect of this?
A good question. So the collaborative would be an ongoing collaborative similar to the cable TV collaborative that we are part of. So, after the first year, I don't see that there'd be a lot of operating costs for the collaborative unless there's some type of major change in law of managing the program. So I don't, yes, as being part of the collaborative, if there are additional costs in the future, we would share in those proportionally. But I don't believe it would be in the magnitude of $3,000. That $3,000 now is basically the our share of the fee that the consultant, which is Bolton Partners, they're a large consulting firm in personnel law and benefit law. That is who is assisting the MML and MACO right now to do this. They are going to be putting on basically the same presentation at the fall conference. So if those of you attending the conference, there is also the link to the webinar that was from Friday. So, you could listen, it's about an hour to the webinar that will go through the entire slides, that I provided you with. So if you'd like that, that could be provided as well.
And as the three options again, the first option is the state, go with the state. They establish the rates. Those come out October 1st. The other option is to implement our own program. And the third one is to go to market and purchase our own policy.
With the collaborative, correct.
Okay, and you're recommending option one?
Option three.
Option three.
Which is go with a collaborative, at least go on the market, see what the rates are. Because one, you don't have to start funding that until January of 2026. We're and hopefully at a lower rate because it's going to be competitively bid on the market. And the state is, you'd have to start putting the money in 15 months earlier. So October of 2024. And that is up to 1.2%. And those rates we will know by October 1st. The state's supposed to publish those rates, but it's anticipated to be somewhere in that range.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions or comments from the other council members?
Yes. In principle, yes, it seems like it's I like this program. It seems like a mother who just had a baby would be able to take a 3 months off to take care of the child. Or is it 4? Yeah, 3 or more. I assume it will be also readily available for fathers. I like it in principle. It's hard for me to understand how, again, it reminds me of Obamacare when we were obligated to buy private insurance on the free market. And now the state is obligating us to pay for something it's co-paying from what I understand, but it doesn't leave us a choice and we have to go as a private company. So there's not even a market for it. So it sounds like a monopoly. But it sounds like we don't have a choice really. I like the program. I don't want to pay. I don't want our town to pay for it. I want the state to implement it. And that would be great. I want the state to find money to pay for it.
Well, the state doesn't have money. That's why they're putting the onus on. It's a state mandate. They're mandating it to all the companies in the state of Maryland. So, it's just like unemployment and workers' comp. It's mandated that you have it and you got to pay for it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I just don't. It's only one company, Bolton, we're presented with. That's what my, the monopoly, it seems like that we're creating just by going with one company. But in principle, I really like the program. I think our mothers and caregivers do deserve to take time off to take care of the sick and the young and etc.
So Irina, I agree with everything that you're saying. What is selling it for me is that MML is involved, and I think, did you say PGCPS was also involved? was did you say PGCPS was involved, or who was involved? It was MML.
Maryland Association of Counties,
yes.
Maryland Municipal
Mm.
League, and the Maryland Association of Board of Education.
Yeah, so that alone for me, like, already has like a good like legitimacy and seal of approval. And we've been talking about this before Mr. Baden even brought this to us. Greg and I have been talking about the Maryland State Program and how we wish that we could implement that for our town employees. So having this opportunity is really good for our town staff, considering that we have such small, like a small number of town staff. So I would be okay with signing on for the letter of intent.
How many employees do we have? It says, I'm looking at this presentation. It says under 15, right? We
Right,
don't
under
have-
15 don't have to contribute
have-
to the plan. Under 15 means that you count any employee that works up to 680 hours in the state of Maryland. So even if you have part-time employees that work less than 680 hours for the town, but
Mhm.
work 680 hours total within the state of Maryland for employers in the state of Maryland, you still have to participate.
Mhm.
You know,
I see.
I think we would be very close to that, but I think we would be probably over that amount, and it changes, you know, based on number of employees you have. Right now we have a couple vacancies, but I think we would definitely be at that level.
Mhm. Okay,
I mean,
thank
like,
you.
like, let's just say one of our public works employees who does hall rentals and things, he works under 680 hours for us, but he works full-time for another employer. So he meets the 680 hours in the state of Maryland, and we would have to cover him proportionally for the time that he works here. So, you know,
And
I
just
don't know
one,
about a new recreation person if he's got a job elsewhere, but he's probably under the 680 hours here, maybe
Mhm.
not. But you know, overall, he probably works more than 680 hours for Maryland employers. So
okay, and just
I
to
think we're gonna
clarify,
be, yep.
so so the 12 weeks, it's out of every year they can take off.
They could take off up to 12 weeks. Yes.
12 weeks per year. So it can be every year they can take 12 weeks every year.
Yep. And they don't have to exhaust their leave benefits that we offer in order to do that. They could just opt into the Family Medical Leave Act. If you're under a certain percent of the Maryland, I think it's average income, you get up to $1,000 a week.
So yeah, what would happen if, let's say, you know, we have an employee who takes this medical leave for 3 months at a time, and would we have to hire somebody else, like temporarily part-time, to cover for them, for their duties?
Most likely. You know, based on the small staffing that we have, I would say yes.
Okay, and can they, another question is, can these 2 weeks be divided and not like taken at a chunk, like at the 12 weeks, but like divided, let's say, out of
Irina,
like
I
one
get
week?
you, but I feel like we're getting into the weeds of the thing, and we might not be able to answer that. But I
Okay.
think, but I
Okay,
appreciate.
I'm just like exploring whether there is any potential like for abuse or it would be like a detriment to our town because somebody we would have to hire somebody else to cover for them because like I'm just like looking at different situations.
Whether we did the collaborative or not, because it's a
Yeah.
state thing. So I think we just need to decide which program we want to go with. So if we want to
Okay.
go with collaborative, then we need to vote on the letter of intent. If not, then we have to go through the state mandated
I don't know. I just, so it feels like it saves us money if we do this collaborative at this point, but I also don't see the point why we'd pay something we can't use until 2026.
And that's the state plan.
Mhm.
With the collaborative, we wouldn't start paying until January of 2026.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Are there any other questions or any feedback? Okay. So I would like to request a motion. So what would the motion be, Mr. Baden, to approve the letter of intent?
Motion be to authorize the mayor to sign the letter of intent to participate in the collaborative RFP process for the Maryland Time to Care Act and pay the associated fees.
I would like to request a motion for that.
Councilmember Hart, I'll make the motion as stated.
I'd like to request a second on the motion. The motion fails. That's too bad.
My assumption is that we're going to continue paying or going with the state. I mean, we'll go with the state. Sorry.
Well, I
not
mean,
continue.
yeah, I mean, if you
All right.
don't opt into the collaborative, then the only two options you have is to go in the state plan, start paying 1.2% in next
October 24. I mean, 2024.
Yeah.
My ray of sunshine. I'm in no opposition of you. If that's what they want to go with, let's get to the next line item.
May a possible recommendation, since we did receive this document tonight, potentially having a special session next Tuesday.
You
and that'll
guys
give
made your
people
choice
enough-
right now.
Say again.
You guys made your choice right now. And also, the mayor just asked the question of whether or not we had to proceed with this letter of intent if we felt the RFP wasn't in our choice, which was the reason why I made the motion to go forth with, because if we didn't want to do it, we could pull out. But the motion's off the table now. So let's get to the next line item.
That's fine.
So if this motion fails, can we do as Councilmember Brooks has stated? We can have a meeting next Tuesday to think about this a little bit more. I'm traveling on Tuesday, so
I'm out of town too.
actually, sorry, I'm gonna be in Dallas on Tuesday. On Monday, Monday evening, I'm taking the flight. So, but it needs to be before October 1st.
What times are me? That's what the date they've given us. I mean, I don't know if there's any lead time with that. I mean, the question that a lot of municipalities had on Friday was, you want this by October 1st, and you need to get us the information, letter of intent and everything, because our council meetings are all happening now. And that kind of puts us in a jam. I mean, like I said, I just got the information to give to you today. And they want it by October 1st. So possibly they would give us, an extension of time. I'm sure they would want more people to participate than less, because there would be pricing differences because of the economies of scale if you get more participation. So you could take a chance that October would be that, the first meeting in October would be okay. Probably a good possibility, but from the information they give me now, they've said October 1st. I'm thinking they're going to extend it, but
Yeah, if we could see if we could schedule something the week of the 25th.
Sorry, I'm not available
The week of the 25th at all?
at all.
So this is frustrating because we have a lot of residents that we employ within the town, and this is a benefit that I wouldn't want to pass up on it.
Is there a
I
first-
just
is
feel
there work
like
session October
we're
3rd?
not passing on it. We're just I feel like we are pressured into this decision, and we're on the 12th. We are presented with this. I'm looking at this, and we are pressured to make a decision by October 1st, but we're not even given a month. So if it's they're going to be an extension, then maybe we might consider it a little bit more. But I just don't want a private company to pressure our town into a decision to make. Even I told you I am very much for it with this program.
Councilmember Hobbs, just to clarify, it is not one company that is making the decision. It's MML and Mako that are coordinating the RFP. So Bolton is the firm that they have hired to go out on behalf of the participants for the RFP. And then there will be insurance companies or, benefit management companies that will bid on that RFP. And then Bolton will help us make a decision based on their experience in that area. So Bolton is already been determined as the company that will assist us in the process.
Thank you for clarifying, Mr. Beaton.
On record, what did we hire a trial treasurer for? If he's giving us the suggestion that we go through the collaborative effort, I'm just, in my head, it would make sense of us to go through it, especially if he's saying that we could pull out of something. I've said collaboration isn't something we want to go forth with. That's the reason why I put forth the motion. So for us to pass on this motion and say, well, we need more time with it, we have to make the decision regardless. We're going to pay the state, we're going to pay someone we find, or we're going to go through the collaboration.
Councilmember Brooks, Ward 3, I believe, well, I won't say what I believe Councilmember Hobbs is suggesting, but I feel it is imperative upon all elected officials to read documents. Yes, we were educated by the treasurer on what he had learned from the webinar, what he had learned from the documentation. However, we as council members need to read all the documentation. And when you are provided documentation minutes before a meeting, it is very difficult to make a very intelligent decision on that. And I do not feel that it is improper for certain members of the council to request additional time to make that educated decision. Yes, we have October 1st as our deadline. However, currently right now it is September 12th. So there are multiple days between now and that date where we could make a decision. We could have a special work session. We've done it in the past. We'll do it again. So I just want to make sure we understand the residents expect us to read the information and to make an educated decision. They do not expect us just to take the words of subject matter experts and go forth.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your comment in regards to deadlines. I ask for deadlines all the time, Councilmember Brooks, and often they don't get fulfilled. So I appreciate your passion, but I would love to request in this instance, when I ask for deadlines or when I ask for certain things, or when I ask for documents way ahead of a meeting. In the past, there have been times when things have been submitted right before a meeting for us to consider. And this is where I've had to say, hey, we need time to review this. And now with this, like, you're kind of now saying, well, we need a lot of time, when I've asked for the same thing and have not been respected in that regard. But either way, town administrator has mentioned that a decision has been made. The motion failed, but what we can do is we can think about what you just said in regards to finding availability to discuss this a little bit more, and hopefully Council Member Hardy's schedule will somehow be, we can work with it. So thank you. So the next item on the agenda is a Cat's Life Rescue and the revised grant agreement.
I'm afraid to present this. Cat's Life Rescue reached out as part of their original request. They had put in funds to pay for some pet food to help capture the cats. They no longer need that money for that. So they've actually asked to switch that money over to the spay and neutering so that we can do 60 cats instead of 45. So it's just a approval of their changed agreement because it's coming from ARPA. So we have to make sure we have that all documented. So the request is just a motion to accept the new agreement as presented.
I would like to request a motion, the motion that Town Administrator Holcomb just made.
Councilmember Brooks, Ward 3 makes the motion to reallocate the funds to the said requests from the Cat's Life Rescue Revised Grant Agreement.
Councilmember Hobbs seconded.
Okay, any discussion on this?
So again, they're just saying, hey, we didn't spend all the money, so move it from one request to,
Yeah,
okay.
odds are they got a donation of food. So they said, we're not going to why spend money on food when we can take care of more cats. And they clearly see the need for taking care of more cats in town.
That is a wonderful organization to make that clearly stated. So
yeah,
thank you.
Okay, I'll call in a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed?
Motion.
Okay,
Accept the
thank you. And I think that, do we have any unfinished business to address? Nope. Okay, so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Oh, sorry. Thank you. See, we miss 1 month and I forget everything. I would like to request a motion to adjourn the meeting tonight.
Councilmember Hart, I make the motion as stated.
Councilmember Brooks seconds.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. The meeting is adjourned.
Whoa.